Welcome to the Two-Ton Nerds. As always, my name is Max James. It's October 8th, 2018, which means it's day 8 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 7. And today's movie is Resident Evil, the final chapter. Now, I haven't talked about a Resident Evil movie since year 2 of doing the 31 Days of Fright. So, talking about the final chapter has been on my list for quite some time. And before I tell you what you need to know about this movie, I'm going to tell you what my initial response was when the final credit rolled, and that was I really loved this movie. I think it was fun. I think it was one of the stronger entries in the movie film franchise, and the way I watched it was even funner because I had binge watched all the previous movies and then went and seen it in theaters, and which made everything so fresh in my mind. I didn't have to worry about what I was forgetting or like when they do little nods to previous movies, and I'm like I didn't have to like worry about that. Everything was so fresh. So, but my biggest problem with the final chapter was the way the movie began. Because in the previous movie, Retribution, it ended with a killer cliffhanger with Ada, Leon, Wesker, Jill, Alice. They were all standing on the roof of the White House, staring at like a battlefield full of biohazards and a few new additions, and this basically saying this is the last of humankind, and here it is, the final battle, and then it cuts to black, and here, final chapter is finally here. I think after 3 years of waiting, it doesn't deliver on that. It you see the aftermath, and I was like, oh man, like what happened to everybody? And they don't say anything. I mean, it's implied that they were all killed, and so I wanted to know how they were killed. So I had to read the novelization, and one of the new bad guys ended up killing them. New biohazards, they ended up killing them. And I was like, well, okay, I would like to have seen this on screen, at least. I know it would have, like, pissed a bunch of people off, but at least it would give a nice little closure to some of these characters for the final chapter. So, that was my biggest complaint, was the beginning. But after that, the movie was so much fun. I loved the special effects. I loved the story. I loved Alice in this. I love Mila Jovovich's character, Alice, and I think that's just... These movies are fun, plain and simple. So, now I'm going to tell you what you need to know about this movie, and first up is the plot. The plot of this movie follows Alice working her way back to Raccoon City to release an airborne cure to finally end all of this once and for all. And along the way, she runs into a few familiar faces, and then, of course, the familiar biohazard zombies, zombie dogs, a few brand newer ones, and it was a lot. It was so much fun. Like even like when they were finally working their way back into the hive, back in Raccoon City. I like how it kind of wrapped the series around going back down into the hive, and it was just, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And we learned a little bit more about the Umbrella Corporation, and learning that the outbreak was intentional. So I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. So it wasn't just by accident that all this happened. It was pure intention to do all this. So that was a nice, cool added punch to the story. So the special effects was great. I loved the makeup of all the zombies, the design of all the creatures, which you see in the games, but they're just seeing them on the big screen is so much fun as well. You got the scare factor. I don't think there's really much scare factor. I think once you get into the hive, I think the scare factor kind of ramps up a little bit. But when she's out and about working away there, the scare factor isn't too high. So, and the acting, I think everybody in this movie is really, really good. I loved everyone. I believed the words that they were saying out of their mouth. It didn't seem too cheesy or anything like that. So, now there's a few twists in the end. I'm not going to reveal because I don't want to spoil the movie, but I found the twist to be satisfying. And then the ending, I know this, they didn't really end this with the intention of ending the series, but it's like they did leave it open. Like, what if? So, and it was good. I found the ending to be very satisfying. It didn't bother me that the way they ended it. It's like at least they did pull the trigger on a few things, and they kind of like left some things open just in case they wanted to return to this franchise, which was nice. So overall, I thought this was a great final entry in the Resident Evil franchise, the final entry in the Resident Evil franchise. So now I have a rating scale: 1 being run of the mill horror, 2 best watch with the group, 3 more than average horror but adds nothing new to the horror genre, 4 helps move the horror genre forward, and 5 being a horror classic. And as much as I like these movies, I think it's a 2. They are best watched with the group. These are just fun popcorn horror movies. Like it's a strong R-rated movie, but they do have the appeal of just sitting with friends and watching it with everybody. So that's all I gotta say about this movie. As always, my name is Max James, and I'm going to go geek out.